Hey everybody, welcome to
Episode
Seeing It
2.
Real, episode 2. There's a lot of stuff that went on this week. You name it, it happened probably. Carlos, how
Mhm.
was your week right now, Carlos? How'd it go? How'd you feel?
I'm all right. It's amazing how like I watch the news now and everybody's shitting rainbows. It's absolutely great. But another week of the grind. Taking in all the information, dissecting it, having fun with it, trying to start conversations with people, those who are tolerant enough to talk back, and which is why we're here, right, Frank?
No, definitely. There's a lot of chatter on social media with all the events that have happened. A
By the
lot.
way, just to start the show off, I'm just going to say it now to everybody. You're wrong about everything. Now, let's do it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. We started off Monday. I've had this on my mind for several years.
All right.
And in case people don't know, is I do enjoy the off road lifestyle. I go mudding. I like using my ATV and riding the mud and trails, one or the other. And in the past several years out here, they've had what you call wheels up, guns down.
Mm-hmm.
It started as a movement to honor Corell Tyler out of Philadelphia. He was a guy that was on a dirt bike.
Right.
On Instagram, he rose to fame because of all the tricks he did. And he was murdered. And out there, they started. They did the wheels up, guns down. Pretty much,
Okay.
bring bring the vision of gun violence down.
Let me make sure I understand though. This what was his name again? I'm sorry.
Corell Tyler.
And he was shot or something.
Correct.
Okay.
He was
All right.
shot.
Go on.
He was shot up in Philly. Eventually, the movement came down here, and they started, and they celebrate this on Martin Luther King Day.
All right.
And my biggest issue here is, are you really providing or do you really have a movement? Are you really protesting something? Are you, or just causing ruckus? Because what you have is you have these ATVers and these dirt bikes and these off-road vehicles on the roads.
Right.
They're creating just havoc. Like, what are you guys doing?
And therein lies the problem again. We kind of touched on this last week with Kaepernick. You have a movement, and mind you, I don't know much about this. You brought it to my attention. I tried to read up on it a little bit. I saw some articles about, I guess, how they were trying to hold, I guess rallies or events in Miami. And apparently last year there were a bunch of shootings. And so this year they said it was much better, but again, just on the surface, it sounds like violence crept its way in, and the message is once again lost.
Correct.
You lose sight of what you're doing. Add to that, this is an interesting topic because apparently what they were doing also, at least I only read the Miami articles, maybe because I live in Florida, so the search results were pretty much Florida focused. But
a lot of the search results are Florida focused,
right? You had people. There were accidents, people getting hit, cars getting hit trying to avoid people. So this sounds like something that needs to be much more well organized, maybe with some permits from a city. I don't know what they did or didn't do, but for that kind of stuff to be going down, it doesn't seem like the event itself was set up well enough. And so, you're getting people into accidents and then guns are involved. You had people shot. I mean, there goes your message right out the door. I mean, it's in the name, wheels up, guns down. And yet you have people appearing at this rally or this event with guns, shooting people. Game over. You're not legit.
Correct. I mean, look, I will say this from what I've always followed this. So from year to year, the numbers do go down,
Mm-hmm.
So, it's, as far as I know, like the numbers of bikers that you see on the road have been less. Could mean that it's dying down. I mean, this year they had 16 arrests compared to previous years. But they found 6 guns on people.
Right. Okay.
I'm not opposed to carrying or one or the other, but if your message is wheels up, guns down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're still carrying, you still have it with you on this ride.
Right.
It makes no sense to people. But it is what it is. It's there's not much we could do about it, but I just felt that I needed to talk about this because it's been driving me nuts for years.
So let me ask you then again, because this is a topic that touches you closer to home than me. I ride motorcycles. I haven't ridden one in a while, but I still do, and I'll eventually hopefully buy a new one, but they're not dirt bikes, and I'm not pulling wheelies. What is it about it that affects you the most, though? Is it about perception? Is it about how people perceive people who ride dirt bikes, or where exactly is the turmoil for you in this particular topic?
Well, to me, in my case, it's more of, again, since I do ride,
right?
And I ride mainly back in the roads, back in dirt areas, but there is an occasional moment where I'm parallel with the main road. I am on the dirt. I am off-road, but I do parallel the main road. But what happens, the perception of this is that everyone's an asshole, and everyone's got to do crap. So at the end of the day, it makes me look like an asshole too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, we do have a tendency as people to broad brush. When you have a few do something, apparently everyone else does too. That's one of humanity's rather negative characteristics, and we fall into it rather easily. Even I'm guilty of it sometimes. So what can you do? So at this point, though, I'm not sure who runs the organization or who sets these things up, but someone just honestly needs to take a better initiative to set something up with the city, set up a permit where they can maybe have a certain stretch of street for, certain distance blocked off. I mean, I'm not sure, I know that requires city permits and all that, but do it.
I think that could be done.
It can be done.
So this week we had the ending of one presidential run and the beginning of the other.
Mm-hmm.
We've had this nation, I think, hasn't been, it's still very divided, and when you look at things, I think it was good. I think change is good always, when things are stale and things are running, not the way it should be.
That's human nature.
Mm-hmm. So, and when you look at things, again, my ass clown, your president, however you want to call him, Trump, with his farewell message, he's wishing people luck, actually, or he was wishing Biden good luck. And I have a big issue with that,
Okay.
Because I think he's being very fake. I really don't think that he's. Yeah, I really do. You laugh. And
I laugh, but for a different reason. Go ahead. It's all right.
I think he's being very fake and very sarcastic, saying, "Hey, yeah, good luck and blah 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 blah." For the simple fact that he never helped the transition. He never helped it, move over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those where you're really like, for real? Are you really gonna wish him good luck? So, and in his first message that he did Tuesday night, he even mentioned, the sanctions that he put on China,
right.
That it helped the trade market with us.
It lowered our deficit.
Right, there we go, lower the deficit. Are you real sure it did?
Yeah, it did lower the deficit. I think I have it here. I do know that it wasn't. It was called a trade war for a reason. It's not like he's gonna make moves and the other country involved is going to be like, sure, we're good with that. No, they're going to do stuff too that's going to directly affect us. And I believe he knew that from the beginning. He said it. I think what I read was the trade deficit. I know it went down about. So in 2019, it went down to 106 billion.
Mhm.
It's been bouncing between 110 and 130 at one point in 2017. So that's when he started enacting his things. And it went down 9 billion and then another 20 billion almost in 2019. So he was looking at the deficit. And Frank, that is an issue in this country. I mean, I don't, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you now, but you see, I got to stop you a minute because, my job on a Monday to Friday is part of the import export business.
Right.
All right. So I see a lot of stuff that come in from China. All right. So now when you go ahead and you start taxing, because that's what he did, he taxed all the imports from China, from Asia. All right. When you see what the numbers were before he took over to what the numbers are now, he taxed things a lot more. Right. So
Right.
you know what? When you do that, your suppliers obviously charge more for the same product they were getting 4 years ago, as opposed to just to shoot a stupid number. The supplier's paying $5 for it, but now he's paying double for it because of the taxing of the product.
Right.
So at the end of the day, we're spending more money to purchase the same product.
Right, but you're putting measures against a country that has a knack for manipulating its currency, stealing our information. So it's no secret that China takes what we know, reproduces it at like half the value, and then makes money on it. And so you had to start somewhere. Someone has to address it. We've been encouraging this behavior for years, and the deficit's just gone up. So we keep losing money with China hand over fist. But
right.
Again, China's going to retaliate. They're going to be, hey, we're not cool with that, so we're going to get you here. And at the end of the day, it literally became a war where both sides started suffering. But his goal was to lower the deficit. And sure enough, he did little by little. I wish he would have lowered it a lot more, but that takes time because China's going to continue to do what they can to get as much money from us and give us as little as possible. And at the end of the day, Frank, if you really want to talk about it, we are way too dependent on China for almost too many things. Look at COVID. A lot of the supplies we needed for COVID came from there. And so when we're having problems, you want an adversarial nation to be in charge of helping us? Something has to be addressed. It has to be done. And he went head on and tried to do something about it. It wasn't the smoothest thing in the world, but I don't think any war is. So, I don't know if you want to peg that as a complete negative. No, it wasn't squeaky clean, but he did get the deficit down, which is one thing he wanted. There were some costs involved, and I believe some jobs too. Okay, but you got to start somewhere. And I feel that now with the asterisk in charge, we're just going to go right back to feeding them money hand over fist.
I don't think so, but
we'll see. We'll see. That's what he's done the last 47 years. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll talk about that later on. I mean, we still got more on this, but now he also mentioned that that the world respects us, right? That we're a more respected nation now, country. Now let me ask you this, though. January 6th came along. All right. Do you really think that we were respected by other nations? Because I really don't think that we are. Because whenever I see an uprising in any other country, I'm like, damn, those people are all fucked up. That's a garbage country. So I don't think we're respected right now at this moment.
That depends on what you call respect. if you're talking about nations being whatever unhappy because of certain decisions he's made, then then yeah, no, I'm sure he's made waves and he doesn't care, and that's fine. I'm not worried about respect all that much, Frank, to be honest with you. As far as I'm concerned, other nations have had a wonderful time leeching off of our tax dollars anyway. So what is respect to you? Being able to give them money all the time so they can be happy? No, I don't think so. I'm tired of that.
No,
And if that's going to make them sour, fine. I don't care. Now, we have to look at the other side of what you call respect. North Korea wasn't firing missiles anymore. The ISIS was pretty much taken care of. I know everybody wants to get into tiny details as to how much, but the bottom line is they got quiet. You didn't hear about all that fighting in the Middle East. On the contrary, you heard about countries actually forming peace agreements with Israel. And I don't want to get into the minutia about why and all that garbage. The bottom line is it happened, and it hadn't happened in like 40 years, I think. So it's all about how you define respect, Frank. Were we respected or not? Well, what is respect to you? Having people like us when we turn around, or actually having nations that are known for causing issues to pipe down a bit? So where do you go?
I have a point.
No. But
No.
So we'll get back to it, though. I'm sure everybody's happy. We're going to start making agreements with the globalists again, and all the Unionites out in Europe, and they're going to love us. And that's, I guess, also respect. So it's all about how you see it, man. It's all about how you see it.
Yeah, obviously back there at your house, someone's in trouble back there, huh?
Well, I don't see a problem with calling out half of Europe and telling them, hey, put your money where your mouth is and fork up some dough to defend your nations. We do most of it. And then as a result, they get to live all this lavish, life and all these wonderful insurances that people blab about because they barely have any militaries to prop up. We're covering their butts all the time anyway. So it just depends. It just depends. Already, I think there's already more suicide attacks now in Iraq. Hey, Biden's here, man. Biden's here. He's a much nicer guy. He's a much nicer guy. Come on, man. Come on, man.
No, man. No.
Come on, man. No. So look, it's all about how you define respect, Frank. I think at the end of the day, some of the world's baddest boys, they got quiet.
I would tell you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying. And to me, that's respect also. I'm not worried about, being liked all that much. That doesn't, and in my opinion, part of being liked was just, see, I already know that I got fans in the comment section because I know I'm not liked, and that's okay. But so in all seriousness, part of us being liked with those nations out east, it's a lot of it is funding. It's all funding. So that's just my take, though.
Yeah, well, you had the next day where he went ahead and he had that 21 gun salute, at Joint Andrews Base, and I'm going to tell you something that I saw during that to me it made no sense to me. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. Carlos, I think someone likes you there. But either way,
great.
We're still in the middle of a pandemic, and right. When the camera panned around, let me tell you something. There was no social distancing. People were not wearing face masks.
Right.
All right. The only one that I really saw wearing a face mask was his grandson, but nobody else was.
Well, so, all right, go ahead.
What are you doing here?
So I can't speak for Trump. I can't speak for, I guess, everyone else. But remember, Trump had COVID. He doesn't care anymore.
But it still doesn't matter.
It does to him. He doesn't have to wear it. So he doesn't really care. Now, as far as, I guess, whoever else you saw, honestly, I didn't watch his farewell as much as I didn't watch the Asterix inauguration. I read about it last night. And it's funny, somebody posted selective rule enforcement when Biden, and I know we're going to get to that later, but Biden during his inauguration took a giant group photo with all of the new peeps, and nobody was wearing a mask either. Biden has passed that mandate that everybody needs to wear a mask on federal property.
And you know what? That's a damn good thing.
He's not wearing it, though. He hasn't been wearing it. He hasn't been wearing it at the signings. His press secretary ain't wearing it at the thing.
At the podium, right? Okay. So, well, you know, I would tell you this. Okay. Well, this is I think when you're up there giving a speech or you're on a podium, number one, they are more than 6 feet away. Okay. And now hold on, I'm going to prove my point here. Right now, you could hear me clearly. You hear me talking, not a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that if I have a mask over my face, you don't hear me completely. You hear me muffled. So
it's a law.
Okay, but the fact
it's an order.
You're right. Okay, I haven't seen the law completely. So to really look at it, but if he went ahead and he put that law into place, you know, I don't see anything wrong with if they're speaking and they're social distancing. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I get that, but again, do you hear me better like this, or do you hear me better like this?
I'm not going to argue with the merits of sounding clear. I get you. You're talking about one man not wearing a mask, and I'm telling you, he already had COVID. So, and furthermore, all right. Hold on. How big was this group? Number one.
Where Trump?
Yeah.
It was a big group at Joint Andrews base. It was pretty big. You know, as a matter of fact,
can show me a picture. I haven't looked at it, to be honest with you. But so he's had it. I don't know if anyone else in the family caught it. For all we know, everybody was tested negative, and they chose not to for the same reasons you're saying about wanting to speak clearly. You know, we can slice and dice that. So, I mean, if you want to harp on that, that's fine. But again, we now have a president who passed a law that said masks on all federal property. And he's gone around 2 days now talking about, no masks. Press secretary, no masks. So are we being selective? Are we going to slice and dice? We can do this.
We can.
But I think at least as far as Trump goes, though, he's already had COVID. He's already had it. So if anyone's going to get a pass, it should be him, because he's done. He's pretty much immune to it now.
Right. Well, remember this. There's two strands now. So, but he still doesn't deserve to get a pass on it, though.
But he doesn't need one.
Are you sure? So what are you saying that? Are you? It doesn't matter. You could get it twice.
Oh Lord, that's like as many people who have gotten the chicken pox twice, which is barely anybody.
No,
I'm just saying.
But look, I have a buddy of mine. I know a couple people that have gotten it twice.
All right, but what are we up to now? 400,000? I forgot the number. I know CNN stopped counting the day Joe Biden showed up, but of the hundreds of thousands who've caught it, seriously, how many cases do we know of that have caught it more than once? Like a tiny little fraction. So, we're nickel and diamond, man. We're nickel and diamond. All right, look, so the kids have it, and Trump's already got it. I don't even see Trump. Where is he?
Trump's not in that picture. Trump's not there. That's just a picture of them as they were standing there.
All right. So remember now, these people are on their way out from service. All right. I'm certain they got tested quite a few times before this picture. So if you want to be nitpicky. Again, we don't know if they were tested. If they all came back negative, they wanted a good photo op. Look, there they are, not too close to each other. Trump's already had it.
That's husband and wife.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple, man. I mean, he's gonna be around her regardless, because I'm sure that
I'm sure
your
they
wife
got
ends up with
tested.
COVID, I mean, you're gonna end up still sleeping in the same bed with her regardless.
I'm sure they get tested. Frank, it's just like when most of us go to work. At least where I work, they have a screener. Yeah, they have a screener. I get a temperature check every day, and we wear masks, but not religiously, and it's okay. I mean,
No, I get it.
I think we're harping. I think we're harping here, but you know what? It's cool.
I do think that
again, you don't think it was cool that he wasn't wearing a mask, and I'm saying that the asterisk in chief passed a law that said we should, and he nor his press secretary were wearing it on federal property. It sounds like hypocrisy to me. I don't care how you slice that one. Just saying.
I disagree, but I mean,
you disagree.
As they're talking,
man passed the law, he disobeys his own law, and you disagree.
I don't. I think if you're talking again, I haven't seen what you're telling me about. I haven't seen it.
Of do as I say, not as I do. Typical Washington.
Well, hey, Trump's done the same thing, so does it really matter?
All right, man. That's why we're speaking it real, right?
Of course. And the next day we had the inauguration. All right.
Oh yeah, the inauguration.
Yeah. Oh, well, hey, man. What? It's one of those where I still didn't agree with Trump not showing up. Regardless, I think that the outgoing president, should have been there. But seeing how your ass clown is, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. As I said last week, this is one of those deals where I think him being there would have taken away from Biden. As much as I can't stand Biden, the whole point is to have the event centered on his inauguration. Trump is such a pariah. He's such a force for, call it whatever you want, but the bottom line is the dude he's an attention magnet. And he would have, just by standing there, he would have taken attention away from Biden. So him not being there for me is okay. And I think that's probably another reason why it was okay that Pence was there. Someone had to represent the administration, but
speaking something that came up to me. Speaking of Pence, and I was gonna mention this earlier, but it slipped my mind. I'm glad you said Pence.
Okay.
Did you notice that he was not even at Trump's farewell message? At the Joint Andrews base at the farewell.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was planned or whatnot.
I think there's a ripple in that relationship, sir.
Now we're getting into TMZ world here, where we're going to start speculating and coming up with all kinds of spicy theories. I mean, you know what? I don't know. It is on record that during the Senate hearings, Trump was upset with him. I believe they did have a quarrel, but it was also reported that they made up. They talked about it. They got over it. So the truth is, we don't really know if he didn't go as a sign of no support, or if it was just planned and he told them, hey, stay here. There's no sense in you coming down to say goodbye to me when you're going to be here introducing Biden. And literally these events were one day to the next, right? So
they were planned. What are you talking about?
But still, we're asking a man to fly down to one state and then fly back up and be ready early in the morning for the next event. So, I mean, we can speculate. I'm not going to say you're wrong. But I can't say that you're right either. We don't really know. All right, we don't really know. But either way, again, I think it was okay for Trump not to be there. It's okay. Let Biden soak in all that new media love and sunshine and all the rainbows and unicorns that are now flying out of the media's butt. Fine. Had Trump been there, they would have just said the same thing. Look at the stark contrast between the new hope and the old demon. I mean, it would have just been garbage. You know it. So I'm okay with him not being there. I'm okay. And it was good for Biden, good for the nation who feels they need healing and all this stuff. Fine. It wouldn't have been the same had he been there. Just my take.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm sure Joint Andrews Joint Andrews
Good.
base is not that far from Washington D.C.
No,
I don't
you're
think
right.
it's that far. I mean, we're really gonna, be like, hey, stay away, or don't come
Well, that's
over.
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying. I'm not. I'm
it's
not
that there was
completing.
a
Yeah,
ripple in their relationship.
yeah, there
They
was.
were fucking pissed off at each other,
Yeah.
So, dude, it's a 28-minute drive to the state capital.
Okay. All right. Well, again, you might be
So,
right. You might be right, or maybe not.
I'm sorry, it's a 28-mile drive. All right.
That's fine. That's fine.
So,
It's not that much. It's not that much.
right, it's not a long drive. So, I mean, it's really, I think there was just a lot more underneath it,
It might be. It might be. And that's fine. Remember, Pence is also a politician, and politicians are 90% about saving face and 10% about working for the American people. So even he's got to look good.
So, anyways, going on with the inauguration, what I did see, and I was happy about. They did have social distance in place. They did clean the podium after everybody was speaking. And you had there it is.
There it
That's
is.
great.
Meme of the year, and it's
Yes, it is.
January.
I've seen Bernie
Actually,
all over
that's
the
a
place.
sad picture. You know what that is? That's the sight of a man who twice now has been told by his party to GTFO. That's what that is. That's what that is. He has succumbed to the party, and he was told basically to step down. And like a good soldier, that's what he did.
He was independent.
And he knew he was running, and he backed down. He backed down.
So right. So anyway,
he's an independent debating with Democrats, so he needs to make up his mind.
So we have here, the inauguration was, I found it amazing. I thought it was really, really good. I mean, we made history again. You have Harris. She became the first woman, Black and Asian descent. All right, and she was sworn in by Sonia Sotomayor, the first lady justice. That in itself is historic.
Yeah, it was ethnic palooza. It was great.
I mean, hey, I see nothing wrong with that. I think it was great. You would have asked me the same question if you would have asked me the question, several years ago, if we would have a woman vice president or even a woman president. I probably would have told you, I don't see that happening ever. But I think eventually this country is going to get close to that. I think we will have. We obviously have the vice president. We will have a female president one day,
and that's fine. I mean, I'm all for broken ceilings. I'm a bit different, and when I say that, I mean honestly, when it comes to color, gender, those are things that we don't have a choice in. We're born that way. And so my point being is those details, in my opinion, are the least important. They always have been. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care. Are you good? Are you going to be good? Are you going to get the job done? That's what matters. And so what concerns me is I'm glad she's the first half Indian, half African American. But she was also the first one out at the Democrat nominees. In other words, she and the party figured that she was the first one to go. Like she was the worst. And now she's our VP. I mean, I think this country's having a hell of a time with talent evaluation right now. And I don't think she's any good. She had a terrible record in California. I mean, we won't even get into the arrest records and the withholding of evidence on certain cases. She's a snake, as far as I'm concerned. And she, like any politician, depending on the day of the week, depending on the audience, and depending what the goal is, she'll smile and say it. So that none of that's true. Okay. So I am not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm glad that we're breaking ceilings and achieving new whatever ethnicity. We're expanding diversity, which is fine. I'm great with that, but it's not a priority for me. It's not.
Laura in the comments was saying Sandra Day O'Connor was the first female Supreme Court justice, a conservative.
Mhm.
Which is great.
Yeah, people tend to forget that.
You know,
People tend to
that's
forget that.
you know, but you know, the Biden speech. You know, the Biden speech that he came out with, it was very moving. I'm not sure if you heard it or not.
I
I'm
read it.
surprised you read it. Well, you
Yeah.
had to have seen it. You know, to
I wasn't
get
going to
the-
watch. I wasn't going to watch that. No. But I read
Yeah.
it for the show. For the
Why
show.
not?
The
Why-
show is unfortunately forced me to look at stuff I don't really want to.
Yeah, but you know what? But look. I'm going to tell you where I think everybody's wrong, and I've made a real big post on my own personal page, and I believe also on our Facebook page. While speaking at Rio, I've also put a post. You know, all the Republicans are complaining that Trump, when he first took office, right, never got a chance. Oh, he was never given a chance. He was never this, never that. You know, they ruined him. They were always after to get him. Okay, that's fine. You're right. I agree. But you know what? Let's turn that page, right? Let's not have these Republicans turn into the Democrats of 4 years ago, bashing Biden on every single day, not giving the man a chance, not letting him do his job. Okay,
Play nice.
that's exactly. You know what? Play nice. You know what? Give the man his rope. Give Biden his rope, and let him hang himself.
He did that. He did that the entire run up to the election, and nobody hung him. That's the point. He did that entire election, run up to the election, said some of the most outlandish things, and yet the man is sitting in the Oval Office. Why? Mm-hmm. Because people were just too emotionally invested in Trump, and now they want us to play nice. Listen, I've said this.
Why lower your standards? Huh? Why be the Democrats?
Why listen to anyone talk to me about lowering my standards after what we had to hear for 4 years? Like, seriously, why take anyone seriously?
Okay, but again, why continue? Why continue the same, the same pattern? Why not let's make it better?
Here's the main thing.
Let's go forward.
Here's the main thing. At the end of the day, it depends on how you look at it. All right. In my world, to me, people were just bitching about Trump to bitch about Trump. So it was personal, regardless of what he did. If he cured cancer, they would have said he did it too late. No matter what happened, people would have just chided him for it. So now I'm not going after Biden because of Biden. I mean, yeah, I'm going to be tenacious in every flaw that he shows going forward. But for me, it's about policy. I don't think he's got good ideas going forward. If they work, they work. But I'm gonna be on him for every single mistake he makes, and that's that. That's that. And I believe every conservative has the right to do that. And again, the issue wasn't just Biden, Frank. Let's be clear. All right, people just weren't insulting Trump. They were insulting his supporters. They were insulting his voters. The whole slew was getting their chain yanked for 4 years. And now all of a sudden, well, why don't we give the man a chance? Why don't we listen? Why don't we work together? Yeah, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow, dude. It is. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do it because, like I've said, I will argue to the teeth. But if it works, it works. But, the attacks on Trump weren't just about Trump. They were personal. So it's not that simple. It's not that simple. And even during those 4 years, Biden himself launched a few attacks of his own. And then now he wants to come out on the steps of the White House, make that well pre-written speech that I'm not really buying, because I think I've heard enough presidents feed me garbage and do nothing. I'm very skeptical of everybody who takes office. That's just who I am.
So
So
let me ask you something. Okay. So since you're so against Biden, and this goes to all these people out there that are really against the Democratic presidency, and you know, and I want people to understand. Before I get to that point of what I'm going to ask you, I want people to understand something about me. I might be bashing Trump right now, and I might be here praising Biden, one or the other. Okay, but it doesn't mean that if I see something go wrong with Biden, I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna be blind to it. I'm gonna call him out on all his bullshit. Also, right now, I don't see that bullshit to call him out on. As of right now, he's only been in office for 2 days. All right, so time's gonna tell. But anyways, going back to you, Carlos.
mhm.
You know, you're so against Biden and whatnot. um, what's gonna happen when that $1,400 check comes through?
You mean the one that was supposed to be 2,000?
Yeah, the one that's supposed to be. Are you gonna accept it, or are you just gonna send it back? I mean,
No, that's my damn money. In my world, they shouldn't have taken it to begin with. That's my money. That's your money.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be just 1,400. It should be a hell of a lot more.
It should be, but why take it?
It's my money to begin with.
But it's coming from the administration. You can't.
No. It's the government giving me back what I already gave them.
But he's approving more money.
Dude, you're basically saying, we need to give Biden props for giving you some of your own goddamn money back.
Well, yeah.
That's no. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, that's not enough. You know me, I'm all about being taxed. Tax me as little as possible. Give me back as much of my money as you can.
Right.
So him coming through with, first of all, it was supposed to be 2,000, and it's not. Now it's the remainder of the 2,000. All right, that's a load of garbage.
Right.
It's a load of garbage.
So
whatever. I mean, why would I want to give Uncle Sam more of my money? They don't do. They trash it around the world anyway. So. I will tell you this.
I will tell you this. Going back to the Biden speech, all right. He really went into bringing unity back to this country. He wants everybody to be together. He wants everybody to start fresh. And what he really one of the things that really caught my attention, and it's one of the things that you and I do, and I've seen other shows, and so forth, is you speak to people. All right. You speak, you respect, and we just got to talk. It's not about, I'm going to scream at you and I'm going to get my point across because I feel like it, or I'm just going to, disregard your feelings. Not respect what you have to say, and that was one of the things that Biden, was saying in his speech, and he also did mention that, hey, look, whether you voted for me or not, I am going to fight for you. I am going to push forward, So you got to give the man credit. He is trying.
Look, Frank, I think at this point, because of what has happened over the last 4 years between having a president who really didn't give a damn about how his message came across, a media who did everything in their power to make sure you hated him, and, a divided nation. I think Joe Biden could have showed up there with a mouthful of marbles, and everybody would have said we got to give him a chance. At the end of the day, this man has been in those buildings for almost 50 years. He will say whatever needs to be said, and that includes that inauguration speech. He's just placating. I'm not buying it. At the end of the day, he's going to do what he's always done. Look you in the eye, give you that smile, say, come on, man. Come up with a few jokes, a few gaffes, some of them racist, some of them inappropriate. And then he's going to turn around and fill out paperwork that's going to benefit his pocket, his party, and then turn around 4 years later and tell you, no, things will still get better. We're still, it's the same thing. This is why I was happy when Trump won, because I'm tired of that. I am tired of the Joe Bidens. I am tired of the Obamas. I'm tired of the Bushes. Tired of them all. I'm sick of it. And so, yeah, for the next 4 years, I'm actually going to give Joe till June, and then he's going to be gone probably at this rate.
You know what? Look,
yeah.
Our comments are going off, but Trump did everything pretty much that you just said, and it's okay.
Wait, what do you mean?
You're gonna sit here and tell me that Trump is not a racist fuck?
Excuse me?
You're gonna sit here and tell me that Trump is not a racist?
If he's a racist, I'm sure he's got his own racist tendencies like anybody else, but I didn't feel threatened. I was fine.
Didn't you just call Biden a racist?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dude, he's made a lot of inappropriate comments in the past. Talking about Obama being clean and articulate, talking about Indians working at 7-Eleven. I mean, we could go on and on.
Okay, so
the point is they both say stupid shit. And if you want to start, I mean, we're not even going to go to some of the stuff he said in the 70s about kids in racial jungles. Go look it up. Go look it up. Now, you want to say, oh, that was the 70s? That's excusing. But, he's still a politician, Frank. He's still going to go on camera. He's still going to smile at you the way you would like to be smiled at. He's going to try to mesmerize you with someone else's words, and he's going to turn around and still be a politician. And so, yeah, I'm hoping America at some point gets away from that. We keep falling into that hamster wheel. So we are where we are.
I don't know, man. I clearly disagree with you on that.
That's okay.
I clearly, we could go back and forth, with Trump being the same way. I just completely disagree with that. But, Biden, he gave his speech, everything else, so after his inauguration, he went over and he signed some amendments, some things here into office, going back to, he did issue a mask and social distance mandate on all federal lands, which, you know what, we've already touched that topic. We don't got to continue touching it. It is what it is.
I'm loving these comments. This is great. Some people never heard the comment about Indian workers at 7-Eleven. That's funny.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it.
I think that,
he said it. He said it.
Look, another thing that Biden administration
misquoted.
Hey, look, he extended the eviction and foreclosures until at least March right now.
That's carrying a policy from one thing to the next. I mean, if people aren't ready to recoup, it's a smart move on his part. That's fine.
He suspended the student loans payment to at least September right now. So for all those of you paying student loans, you can still not pay them, but hopefully one day those numbers will go down. That's something, something else. So, he did do what happened?
I'm reading these comments. Go ahead.
Yes. Kaylee's absolutely right.
Oh, Jesus.
So, I mean, Carlos, you have the world against you right now.
That's always. That's why we have a show. What fun would it be if it was you by yourself in an echo chamber in the message room?
So, let me ask you something there, Carlos. Yeah. What do you think about the immigration reform bill that Biden signed over?
I'd like to read the details. I know he's going to expedite access to 11 million, which I think is a small number. And I say small because we've had 11 million illegal immigrants in this country for, it feels like 10 years now. The number has to be bigger. I'm all for an expedited immigration process. I think what we have now is a jumbled mess. I don't know how the injection of 11 plus million people though is going to benefit. I think that's gonna cause some problems at first. I mean, that's 11 more million people that need resources and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know if I would be so quick about it. But the problem is, again, this is an issue that Congress should have resolved eons ago, and they don't want to. They don't want to. They need votes. So immigration is something that just never gets fixed. And it's not that hard of a situation to fix. So I don't know, man. I know part of me, says, we need to help them out. We need to smooth the process. Part of me also says he's doing this just to have more voters, which is not an unrealistic idea. So I'm kind of mixed right now. I'm not a huge fan of just blanket amnesty, but I do feel that the immigration system in this country is an absolute wreck. So we got to start somewhere, I guess. Got to start somewhere.
Correct. I mean, look, I think it's a good thing. It's a good place to start. Being the fact that our parents are immigrants, so I think
right. So am I.
I've always said this, and I would always continue saying it. I've had family members get pissed off at me for saying it, but I do believe that if you are going to be in this country, you got to be here. You have to be here legally.
Yes.
I that's one thing that I will do, and I would always stick by. You want to be here, not a problem. You're here legally.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as that goes into play, I'm okay with it. I thought it was great. Now he also reversed the travel ban that Trump set. On
right.
these Muslim countries.
You mean the misnamed travel ban, Muslim travel ban?
However you want to put it.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's another good plus.
Right, and I don't know if that's a good idea. So the only reason I say that is because part of the reason why those nations were on that list was because, if I'm not mistaken, the conditions in those countries were pretty bad. They were war-torn, lots of war. And so those countries were having a hard time keeping up with proper identification measures. So they were suspect for sending possible terrorists. And so that's why there was a ban put on them. And those were countries that were listed by Obama first. He listed those nations. And then Trump just followed up with a policy to ban them until I guess until things got straightened out. But I mean, if he wants to lift the ban, go ahead. Hopefully, nothing bad will come from it. I don't know what those countries I believe are doing a little bit better because Trump took care of the issue with ISIS, like it or not, he did. And there I don't know how quickly stability has come around in those areas.
Yeah, but you know what, Carlos? I think when Trump did it, and I think he just kind of assumed that everyone that comes from these Muslim countries are terrorists.
That's blanket. That's blanket nonsense again. That dude.
Again, this is just my
Oh man.
Anyhow. I think that Trump's agenda is a little different. But you know what? Look, I'll be honest. After this show, I'm going to try not to talk about that ass clown anymore.
That's fine. I'm ready to talk about the asterisk.
But we'll take it from there. One other thing that I want to touch up on with Biden is, people were saying, oh, you know what, he took that, he took jobs away, with that
the pipeline.
Right. Look, this is simple. The pipeline there weren't really jobs out there yet.
There were 1,000 of them. I was just reading up on that before we started the show. There were 1,000 jobs, and there were jobs on the Canadian side too. So I'm assuming they've been affected also.
Well, the Canadians could still keep on doing whatever the hell they want. I mean, that line was supposed to go pretty much straight from, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Alberta, Canada, all the way down to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that obviously hasn't happened. Okay, and when you really look at all the factors and pros and cons, I believe there's a lot more cons than pros. Because you know what? If one of those pipes leaks, dude, we're in trouble. There's a lot. It's a big mess. It's a big mess.
Right. Know? So again, dude, we've had pipelines in other areas of the country that have been running for years, and it's not a perfect business. However, being energy independent helps us and helps our pockets. So we have to draw a line somewhere.
Right.
If we're not happy with pipelines, then we're not going to be happy with gas prices, and this becomes a vicious circle. So I think like anything else, though, technology is improving. I don't see how it could have been so bad, but you know, some people they feel that they feel that not using the pipeline is good. Someone else is going to benefit from it, though. Like someone else will find a way to work with Canada, and they'll start reaping the benefits that we won't, and we're going to have to start depending elsewhere, and that's going to start costing us more money. Well, and that's how it goes.
We've been depending elsewhere, and in actuality, and you know what I was reading on this pipeline is that a lot of this pipeline was going to be used was going to actually not be used here.
In what sense?
Right. In what sense that the crude oil that comes out of that pipeline was going to be shipped out to other countries and sold to other countries.
So we were going to make money on it.
Fine, we'll make money off it, but
that's a bad thing.
But what is the gain for you? What's it the gain for me?
Keeps our energy prices down.
Are you sure it's going to do that?
The more we export, the more we export. Have you not realized you haven't paid over $3 in gas in 4 years?
In over 4 years.
You have not paid over $3 in gas in 4 years. None of us have. Well, let me not say that. I can't speak for other areas. In Florida, maybe Miami, you paid $3.01 or something.
California is pretty high.
Yeah. I can't speak for California.
I was in California about 2 years ago, and let me tell you,
they like to pay a lot for everything. That's just what being in California is about.
Gas was just too much, you know. And if the majority of the cars in California are Toyota Prius.
I have not paid. We here, at least in this area, we have not paid $3 of gas in 4 years. And so that a lot of that has to do with being the number one exporter and energy costs going down. So the more stuff you start cutting out, the more we're going to start paying, just like we used to before.
Well, you know, as much as Biden, the inauguration, the farewell address was good talking, you know, and discussing it, you know, I want to get into this weekend's actions. You know, we have football coming up on Sunday. We got,
I was 3 out of 4, and the one that I needed got away.
And we have the AFC and the NFC championship games.
Yep.
You know, we're going to start off here with the AFC with Buffalo and KC.
You know. All right. Well, what's your take? Go ahead.
Look, Buffalo's coming out strong. All right. When you look at Buffalo, they are on an 8-game win streak. All right. It would have been 12 if it wasn't for Kyler Murray and that Hail Mary. You know, and I'm not going to say Patrick Mahomes is not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because at the end of the day, when you're playing football, it doesn't matter if you're 100%. If you put your foot on the field, you're ready to play. You know,
that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game.
It all depends on how Buffalo comes out and on how Patrick Mahomes plays. You know,
right.
I think Buffalo's going to edge this game. I think it's going to be a very good game. I think they're gonna learn from the loss that they had, on when they first met. And I think Buffalo's gonna go to the Super Bowl on this one.
I'm gonna agree with you. They just seem to be doing everything right. It just seems like they're firing on all cylinders. And again, we have to question exactly, where Mahomes really is. Because I mean, after what I learned about Drew Brees, and we'll get to that when we start talking about the NFC. You never really know. It seems like teams aren't really, really completely honest with people about the health of players. So, but the Bills, I mean, at this point, they just look like they're just doing it. The Bills remind me of the 2009 Saints. Nothing was going wrong, and that's exactly what they look like right now.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'll tell you, I'm a Dolphin fan, and for me to really root for Buffalo, after.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that's it's like, oh gosh.
It's like a bad taste in your mouth. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna root Buffalo right now, man. I think they're the team to beat. And Laura, the Pats are out. Who cares? You know what? Thank God the Pats are out. I can't stand the Pats. Ugh. It's just I throw up in my mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, this just brings us on to
see, but it's funny because when we were younger, it was the Bills. Remember, that's when they were going to all the Super Bowls with Jim Kelly. Dude, they were the thorn in the side in Miami. That's so it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I know it is. But this takes us into the NFC game. Where we have Tampa and the Packers.
Yeah. So one last hurrah to my boys. They didn't come through. And it's funny because I remember last week I predicted the Saints, and I promise you, had I known that day that Taysom Hill and Murray were not going to play, I probably wouldn't have said that because I mean, I as much as I hate to admit it, Drew Brees, his physical performance is it's dwindling. He's 42, I think. And so having Taysom out there gives that offense a ton of options, which drove defenses nuts. Once I knew he wasn't playing, I was extremely concerned because I didn't think Drew Brees alone could do it. He's just physically not been doing it all year. So I was worried, and Tampa exposed that, and we lost. So now we're going to have to deal with the other elephant in the room, which is even though Brady's quarterback, Tampa historically, when it gets to cold weather, they suck. So,
Brady is used to playing in cold weather, though.
That's what I mean. Even with Brady there, though, but Tampa in cold weather is just historically bad. So, I don't know if maybe the producer can help me. How's Green Bay's injury report? Are they at full strength? I don't know if they're at full. If Green Bay is anywhere close to full strength, they got this.
Yeah, Green Bay's full strength.
They got this.
Look, I would tell you like this. I don't care if they're at full strength or not. I would not root for Tampa Bay. You wanna know why?
Why?
Because they have Brady on there. And
that's true. Yeah, no, I know. He's a pariah in Miami. He's an absolute pariah.
Kane.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Brown is out. So, yeah. Yeah. So, even though he hasn't really been a major factor, he's still a weapon and one less weapon that they have. Yeah, I think Green Bay is gonna outscore them. I think it'll be pretty high scoring though, because I don't think Green Bay's defense is like all that. So they should get plenty of touchdowns in this game. But I think that weather is gonna take its toll on Tampa, and Green Bay should squeak it out. So it should be a Packers-Bills Super Bowl.
I think so. I'm going up. Look at that. We agree again.
And I'm telling you, man, that's the beauty of the show. Every now and then we see eye to eye, and we keep it civil, man. I've seen some of the juiciness on this comment section, but hey, that's America. Whatever.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the way it's gonna go. I mean. Any last comments for you, Carlos?
No, man. Once again, I want to thank our producer, Joe. I want to thank Clovercrest Media Group for this opportunity. Frank, as always, I thank you. Without pulling your ear, you wouldn't have started this snowball to give two boys from the South who don't think alike, but we've been friends forever. And I don't care what we say. I think we're just showing America, hey, you can get along, cut the bullshit. And I'm just grateful. So thanks again, man. I look forward to next week. That's all I got for now, man.
Hey guys, listen, it's simple. Carlos, it's always fun. Our followers, hey, thank you for following us, guys. Look, you guys got to share this. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Guys, it's like Carlos said, the message that we're trying to get across, is that we could speak. Whether you agree with what we're speaking or you disagree with what we're speaking, we will always speak it real. We'll see you next week, guys.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.
I would just like to point out that a few weeks ago, Jace said that Mac Jones was garbage.
Hurry up here for Alabama. Play action. Mac Jones wants it all. Long ball. Man there. Got him. Mechie. Touchdown.
I'm not sold on Mac Jones.
In the red zone, Alabama with 3 minutes and change remaining in the half. Jones fires to the corner. Devontae Smith. Touchdown, Alabama.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event.